do the research for themselves. Please, whatever you do on this document, don't believe anything I say. This is all on the internet. It's all for you to find right wherever you would like. What happened to the... Can we go back? Slide. In short, Agenda 21 is a non-binding agreement signed by the Canada on human settlements going into the 21st century. That's where you get the Agenda 21. It's filled with warm, fuzzy words that makes us feel good, but when it's fully implemented, it will change our way of life here in Canada, especially in the rural areas. According to the plan, if it goes right through, and is accomplished through a series of municipal regulations that will make it harder and harder to live in the country, and will provide you by slowly stripping away all private property rights, and it will eventually walk us down the garden path. If you look at this, this is the preamble to the Vancouver Declaration that was done in the 70s, which was the pre-declaration of Agenda 21. And if you just read that for yourself, that's why I was doing this. It talks about bringing in things such as social justice, urban renewal, and development of the profession and the provision of decent dwellings. In short, if you look at the Vancouver Declarations on human settlements, it's more of a political agenda than it is an environmental one. Then I went to the Canadian government website as suggested, and this can be found on the Canadian government website. You can go and look under their search engines, and you'll find that is this here booklet. I guess it's just a booklet that is how to implement Agenda 21 through Canada, through the municipalities. And by drawing general conclusions from the work that is already underway at a local level, it recommends a general sustainable development planning approach. As I read through that document, it caused me great concern because all of the stuff I had been fighting for, our freedoms and our property rights and stuff like that, with these other committees, started to show up in this document, just as Glenn Beck and Brian Lilly had said. I would strongly recommend anybody in any municipal council to take a hard look at that Agenda 21. There's over 10,000 references to it on the Canadian government website. You can also go to the UN website if you wish, where there's over 7,000 references to it. This is not a hidden plan. This, as one MPP I was talking to about this, he said it's hidden, but in absolute plain sight. In short, in my opinion, it is an environmental document with extreme political implications. Some of the buzzwords that I had been hearing and show up all up through that document is there, along with other things such as sustainable and sustainable development, settlement areas, target density, intensification, encourage denser development, more compact urban, connectivity, linkages, prohibit development in the habitat of species at risk, and expanded buffer zones. Many of these words are showing up in many municipal planning acts. If there was a fellow by the name of Dr. Michael Kaufman who took the Agenda 21 documents, he worked for the U.S. Forestry, and he took the Agenda 21 documents and mapped out a simulated map for the U.S. of what the U.S. would look like if Agenda 21 comes to fruition. If you can find the black spots, that's where they want the people. The red spots are no people. The Orange spots are limited, or the yellow spots are limited access, and the blue you can sort of go through. But it's all about getting people off the land and into high density populations. In conclusion, I'd like to leave you with this. Agenda 21 is to be implemented slowly from municipalities up by making rules and regulations that eventually move people off their land and concentrate them in small, densely populated areas, as it slowly strips away their property rights and individual freedoms. It is a slow and calculated change to our society and our way of life as we know it and cherish. There is an analogy I'd like to leave you with. As I said, this is to be implemented very slowly, and it's right in the documents. If you put a frog in a can of water and you crank the heat up very slowly, that frog will stay in that pan of water until it boils to death. That is the path that Agenda 21 will lead our country down. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any questions? Motion that...
If I could just add, I got a couple of seconds. I really, really strongly encourage you folks, don't believe a word I said. Please look it up. Call me up and prove me wrong. That's what I would like you to do.
Okay. Motion that the presentation be received. Councillor Scott, seconded by Mayor Day. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you very much. Item 9, we're on to the consent agenda. The recommendation be received for information. 9.1. Councillor Scott, second by Councillor Cook. Questions? All in favor of that? That's carried. Thank you. Correspondence and petitions. There's 3 items of correspondence there. And there's a recommendation that they be received and filed. Councillor Underwood, seconded. Councillor Russell. Thank you. Any questions? Deputy Mayor Day.
I would anticipate that we'll be referencing Larry McDonald's correspondence during the discussion later on as well.
Yep. All in favor of that? Carried. Thank you. 10.4, we have a request for a dog park in Grand Bend. There's a recommendation there. It will be referred to the 2015 budget in the various communities. The council supports the efforts of the community partners to fund the dog park. Councillor Russell. Second by Deputy Mayor Day. Any questions? Councillor Underwood.
Yeah, when I had to make any changes to anything that was coming downtown, there had to be some kind of a public meeting. I'll make sure there's a public meeting so that if they are going to come up with something, that before it comes to budget discussions, I would like to have make sure that that area has a public meeting first as to whether or not the general public wants to have a dog walking park. I have no doubt they don't, but they need to be informed is the way to do it, in my opinion. So.
Have to be a location identified.
Yeah, it's a shame that both councils are, not here, but maybe we can sort of know that if they, it's a good way to improve, but the people in the area should know.
Okay. All in favor of that? Carried. Thank you. 10.5, there's a request for a community safety zone, and there's a recommendation for a staff report. Requirements to establish that. Councillor Cook. Seconded. Councillor Russell. Questions regarding that? All in favor? Thank you. Carried. Minutes to staff reports. 11.1. EIA minutes. Motion received and filed. Councillor Scott. Councillor Russell. Questions? All in favor of that? Carried. Thank you. 11.2.